Demon and why I think it is one of today's very few actual muscle cars. All of them that are actually muscle cars today are pretty much put out by Mopar. And the reason I think that is because the other cars are pony cars now. So we wanted to go over the Dodge Demon and a little bit about, is it worth the money and the effort to try to find one. I ended up with this car after the Redeye was announced. I went ahead and ordered a Redeye, and then the Demon prices started dropping, and I found this one at a fairly good price. I felt it was 103. It's still high, but it's not terrible. Sorry guys, it's hot in here. Texas weather, man. So I was tickled to be able to get a hold of a car that has never been driven. I've put 3,040 miles on this thing, and I couldn't be more pleased with the way it is as a street car. Now, some guys are going to argue and say, well, you can modify a Hellcat to do the same thing, and that's true. If you're going to modify a car, then I would take a Hellcat any day of the week. Either a Redeye if you want the Demon's pretty much drivetrain, or the regular Hellcat. Either one are great cars. They drive great, and they're just overall robust and pretty mean engines for what they are from the factory. I was able to get this car out of Florida. The dealership that had them way marked up, and then when the Redeye was announced, it came down substantially. So I had a Redeye on order, and originally I was just going to get a Demon and modify a Demon. So I ended up with this car, and about a month after I got this car, my Redeye had arrived. And when I saw my Redeye, I couldn't resist owning both cars. And I figured that I would, if I was gonna destroy one, essentially put a cage and all that in it, I would rather do it to a Redeye and leave this one 100% stock. This car has the stock PCM on it from the Demon crate. That's all it has. I haven't even put the Demon air filter on it yet. I need to, but I haven't. Overall, as far as a street car goes, I don't think it can get much better than these. It's big, it's bulky, it's a Challenger, but it's very strong, fun to drive, and just overall enjoyable. And it's pretty docile on the street when you want it to be. I really feel that Chrysler hit a home run with these things, and I love them. I do. I love these things to death. Some of you already know we went to Legions of Demons with this car, and I didn't even put the skinnies on it and ran a lower 10 with it. And the car was still more or less breaking in. I've always been taught to break in cars like you drive them, so I don't really pay attention to the factory break-in procedure, so to speak. This car does not even have a drive shaft or axles in it. It's probably going to get a drive shaft and axles, and probably a diff brace, but I haven't done that yet. I do have some complaints about the Demon selection of tires. They should have used Mickey Thompson's, I'm sorry. But they're stickier tires. They don't last as long, but they're stickier. And if you want a car that will go all out and do what these things are designed to do, get the Mickey Thompsons. So, again, the car's comfortable you can take this thing across country, no problem. It's actually a softer ride than my Redeye is, which thrills me a little bit more even. And it's a softer ride. It's a better ride in my opinion, and it squats when you hit the go pedal, so it doesn't try to murder you like some of the other cars will. So if you were considering a Redeye or a Demon, I would ask you a couple of things. The first thing would be, do you plan on modding the car? If you say yes, then I'm going to say get a Redeye. If you just want one that's showroom ready to race, that can run 9s off the showroom floor, get the Demon. Keep your warranty and beat the snot out of it. They do good. I mean, that's all I can say about them. I'm pretty rough generally on cars as far as what I think of them. A lot of you guys know I have a Mustang GT350 and a Corvette Z06, and by far I had rather drive this car, and it's for no other reason than the way the car handles and just the way it feels on the road. You can't beat these cars in my opinion for straight line acceleration or whatever. Roads are still a little bit slick apparently, but these cars are, in my opinion, they're the most awesome muscle car that has ever been built. That includes some of the old school stuff, but I'm a technology guy. It's who I am. I like the little things that the car has, that something from the old age probably didn't, like, you know, air conditioned seats and heated seats, a heater and an air conditioner, a good radio, stuff like that. Used to a 9-second car, that was all pretty much unheard of. Yeah, I got a 9-second car with everything in it. 10 years ago, that was a shock. And today we're doing that for fun. We're doing that from the factory. Full weight trim. So I've actually got the skinnies on this car right now, cruising down the street, and it drives fine. I don't have any issues with it at all. I really enjoy just driving the car around. It's Sunday, and I just figured I'd get out and drive the car and talk to you guys a little bit about why I thought this car was so awesome. And to me, the Redeye I picked up for about 82 grand. And I know some people inside the dealership, they helped me out on it. It's Sulphur Springs Dodge, if any of you are wondering. My guy Bob Boynton over there sure took care of me. So versus the Redeye, you're going to give, if you get the dealer rate I did, you're going to give probably 20 grand more minimum than you did off the dealer price. And that's fine. Do I think it's worth the 20 grand? Absolutely, if you're not going to modify it and you want to keep your warranty. If you're going to modify it, get a Redeye, throw the Demon suspension in it, you essentially have what amounts to a Demon. There's a couple of other little things you can activate in the car. Activating the radio is not that big a deal to get it to have drag mode and other things. Now there's no trans brake, but I think we may have a fix for that as well. And honestly, even on this car, I don't use the trans brake unless I want to do a big nasty burnout on the street. It's handy for that, but I don't use it on the track. One thing, it's a shock load onto the diff, and I'd rather just foot brake it. It's still a shock load being a foot brake, but it's not as brutal a shock load. In the end, it's still stock transmission, stock rear end in it. But we all have to keep that in mind when we're beating on these cars. I know that there's some things going around in the industry about these things breaking diffs, and they can, but usually it starts off as it all comes down to being a bad launch at some point and getting that vibration in it. I'm not saying that I haven't ever done it. My Redeye, I have done it many times, and the Redeye has always held together, but there's one too many vibrations you may get, and then you get a differential that's not gonna play nice anymore. So anyway, my opinion on the whole Demon thing is, if you're gonna leave it factory with warranty and all that, absolutely it's worth it. I hope I missed it, turtle. If you're gonna leave it factory, just, the Demon's worth the 20 grand. If you're gonna modify it, you might as well get a Redeye. I have both and a 2016 Hellcat. The Redeye, I think I may turbo it later, I don't know, but for right now I'm gonna leave it right where it's at, and that's headers and a 10% lower, and that's about all I really need for it right now. And we'll continue out from there. So the advantages of the Redeye is you don't have to feel bad about modifying it. The car's still got the Demon rods, the Demon crank, all that good stuff in it, so it's a little bit tougher than the Hellcat, but there's less room on the Demon and the Redeye before you start having to run stuff like race gas. And when you start having to run race gas, it kind of goes against what a street car is, in my opinion. Everybody's out here driving like 10 miles an hour. So in my opinion, that's the best way I know to tell anybody that's considering these two cars. If you're going to leave it stock, get a Demon. If you have the budget for it. If you're going to modify it and that's in your plans, get a Redeye right off the bat, or get a regular Hellcat. Either one of them will modify fairly nicely, and you'll be happy driving them, I guarantee you. There's not that much power difference between these cars. In some ways, I have more fun in the Redeye because I don't care if I wreck it. And that's just the way racing is, guys. So if you're considering these two cars and you want to ask me some questions, go ahead and shoot me a PM or whatever. I'd be glad to help you with anything I can. definitely love these things. They're an awesome car in their own aspect if you're going to leave it factory. I know I've kind of followed Demonology a little bit, and he's thinking about modifying his, and I'm not against it. I'm just saying, if it's in your plan from day one, then go ahead and get the Redeye today. You're going to save some money. You'll have the same car with a few modifications. Alright guys, that's about all I got to say today. If you like what you see, go ahead and like and subscribe to us, and we'll bring you some more content. We got a Trans Am build that's coming up, and they cut the whole front end off the car the other day, and it should be fairly exciting. But we will see you guys soon. Thanks guys.